Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast Dragon Ball edition. Today we are talking about Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter 96. We got the Dragon Ball expert with us, Mr. Mitch Oso. How are you doing today, sir?
I was always doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. The month of August is coming down to an end. Just finished a couple days ago editing 5 hours worth of all the anime league stuff that the other people did and put that out there. And you're not just a Dragon Ball expert today, since this is my first time talking to you on podcast since this. You're also the L7C free for all champion in our Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Day with Cyber Dragon. So
Yep,
congratulations on that. You pulled it
yep,
off with amazing stuff. If you haven't listened to my recap, go listen to that.
yep. That I did. I'll be honest with you. Before I anticipated that I was going to win everything, but to be honest with you, if I had to choose one of the three, I just wasn't expecting to win the free for all. Usually, because if anyone knows how our free for all rules go, and if you know how Yu-Gi-Oh works, um, whoever hits zero life points in the free for all, let alone they lose, that's also when the game is over, and whoever has the most life points at that time wins. So uh it's not like a battle royale kind of, Fortnite or any of that kind of shenanigans where it's the last one standing. It is strategic in the sense that you can't just obliterate your opponent. You gotta set yourself up for victory. And usually, whenever it came to those matches, I always felt like because I ran Cyber Dragons, that primarily I just do big attacks and just try to destroy people in one turn. It's I get my life points knocked down pretty close to zero, and it's very hard to try to make a comeback without you know trying to navigate my way through those obstacles. But had a couple of interesting moves, and it all worked out for the best. So no complaints. No complaints. No.
So,
But you're the overall champion, so I mean it's
yeah.
nice having a bronze medal essentially, but
Yeah, we'll see. It's always a fun time winning that stuff. I mean, now that we got like trophies and almost everything, belts and everything we do, so it's cool having it for a year and then trying to defend it until next year. So now people saw you win your first event, so now people are going to be coming for you because now you got to defend your title.
yeah, I don't have normally I would have something to say, but I do not. Just good luck, I guess.
All right, so we got the Dragon Ball Super 96, Chapter 96. We got that, and then I got some fun stuff I'm gonna throw at Mitch on the fly. So I'll let Mitch decide first. Mitch, do you want to go over the chapter first, or you want to talk about the fun stuff I got planned for you first?
Knock out the chapter, let's save the best for last per se. And as we've explained on these past few, you know, chapters. It's just a retelling of the movie with some little extra spice that they've added to it. And we can just knock that one out real quick. So,
All right,
all
real.
right. Well, I'll start it off here real quick so we can get to my pop quiz that I'll fail miserably. So, chapter 96,
Mhm.
titled Saya Men on the Scene. And starts off with well, the end of the previous chapter, just a quick recap. That was, Piccolo transforming into Orange Piccolo, and the chapter starts off with Trunks talking to Bulma, and Bulma had told Trunks about the situation with the androids, and he finally admits to Bulma that he has had experience with Dr. Hedo's androids before, obviously during that little mini arc with him and um, Goten, and their Saiyaman X1, X2 personas and whatnot. And there's just a little banter going back and forth. Bulma's asking why would Trunks hide that kind of information from him, and he essentially said, "Would you believe me?" And she's like, "No." So she decides that she's going to have both Goten and Goten arrives at the scene here. at Capsule Corp. She's basically saying, "All right, you guys are going to go fight. You guys are going to go help. Try to find where Piccolo is, and let's go to him." Well, they have a little difficult time trying to find since Piccolo's key. Both Goten and Trunks are they believe Piccolo is in one direction and the other one points another direction. They believe that he's over there, and Goten thinks that's actually Dende, and blah blah blah. And
I
so
do want to interject real quick because this was a thing that came out that this is one of those situations where you just gotta wait for the chapter because God, the fandom got embarrassed because everyone's like, "Oh, Trunks and Goten can't sense him. He must have God key." No, they just suck.
yeah, that was a lot that people were talking about was if Piccolo has God key. I, I'll I will say this, I won't completely dismiss that yet because there's nothing here that says that Piccolo has God key, but they don't give an explanation why they can't sense Piccolo. I mean, if it is God key, yeah, it makes sense, but like, why can't they? I don't. Well, I guess they would have felt Gohan's power. I don't understand why they don't sense that Gohan's powering up, but so that probably means that they're just stupid. On the
Mm-mm.
flip side, too, to support what you just said, though, maybe they just don't recognize the key that Piccolo is now, pumping out because he just turned orange during this scene. So they're probably, accustomed to what his power level was during, the time of Moro or a little bit of time after that. So they probably just have no idea that Piccolo is just off the charts right now.
But
On
it's
the
weird. It's weird on the flip side of that. Like you've already said it. Like it makes no sense why you couldn't sense Gohan's energy because like there's multiple people fighting and
It almost would make sense that Piccolo would have God Key for them not to be able to sense him, but like they're still not sensing Gohan. And I feel as though throughout the entire series, if people just like if you could send if someone is ascending really, really high in their key level, then even if you're just sitting there on the couch watching TV, eating chips, like you would notice something across the planet that is insane.
I would
You know,
even go further to. I just think it's because they suck. Because like just think of Boo Saga. As soon as Goku got to Otherworld, Gohan wasn't even powering up, and he was able to distinguish Gohan's ki in a whole different dimension.
well, I will give Goku is a way more experienced fighter than them.
Okay, then what
So
about Kid Gohan and the Android Saga? I mean, they were all able to distinguish when Goku powered up against Android 20, where they to locate him.
the only thing I can think of to explain that one is that like they were aware of each other at the time and they were kind of like in sync with each other if that makes sense. So like they always knew where Goku was even though they were flying around looking for the androids. They already knew where Goku was and Goku probably knew where their key was because just like who was it? In Super um Frieza arrived, they all powered up just so that Goku could lock on instant transmission. Like where I'm trying to get at is they just were aware of each other, but I don't know if what I just explained to you answers this situation. I don't know. I don't get it. So I don't know if Piccolo can't be sensed, but like why can they not sense the huge power level that is Gohan?
And then who else are they like? Who else was Trunks just randomly pointing at?
Um,
It can't be
so
Android 17 because they don't have power levels.
so
It can't be Tien because Tien that would be too.
it couldn't be. Here's the thing too. So Trunks is pointing towards like Dende's power level.
Hmm.
But Goten is the one that's like, nah, that's Dende. Does Goten know that's Dende because of the direction that he's pointing or because of the feel of his key? That's what I don't know.
It's a
Like this
good
whole
question.
section here is stupid.
Yeah, I just feel like the fandom we jumped the gun way too quick on the translation, and then there's no mention like you said, there's no mention of like the God key. Is just more like, oh, just Trunks, just they suck.
Yeah. I would hope that Piccolo would have God Key because of stuff that you and I had discussed um, before the podcast here when those first came out, which maybe we can elaborate later on, like, the consequences if that was true. But
Oh, no, I could even no. That's why I think it's not. Sorry, that is not God key. Because if we skip all the way, all the way to page 30, Gohan even tells Piccolo, "It's like, yeah, your key skyrocketed when you went orange."
that he did.
Gohan was able to sense his key, and that was so. That's why I'm just like, just Goten and Trunks just were terrible.
Yep. And I think I would agree that they are terrible. I mean, this Trunks is not future Trunks, for example. This
Yeah, and this
Trunks,
Trunks is with a pedophile, but that's a whole other
yeah. I mean,
thing.
it really is what it is. But these are just high school, just
Yeah.
chumps.
Mhm.
So, anyways, so Bulma, you know, kind of tired of Trunks and Goten not being able to help, decides that she's just going to call Piccolo and find out where he is, not knowing that all this shit's going down. Um, and as she dials, we see the drawing of Orange Piccolo rising out of the crater at the Red Ribbon base, and everyone's just completely in shock, of course. And and then we get to a little bit of fighting between Gamma 2, and he rushes right towards Piccolo and punches him right in the abdomen. And as with every single transformation, the moment it happens, every single attack is absolute hot garbage and won't ever do anything. We do get to see, Piccolo's size has increased too, so significantly bigger, and he uh, he winds up his fist and punches Gamma 2 right in his face and launches him backwards, and everyone's kind of still in shock. Gamma 2 he's wide eyed at the moment. Can't believe that he just got hit, and no Red Ribbon Army. They're like they can't believe that they're basically about to lose. And Piccolo makes a remark that Shenron wasn't joking around whenever he gave him a little extra bit. And then we have what is this guy's name? Magenta? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Magenta.
Hmm.
Magenta tells all the foot soldiers to, just unload their weapons on Piccolo, thinking that bullets are going to, solve their problems, which they don't. And Magenta decides at this point that it's that time to activate Cell Max, and he starts running, and Dr. Hedo chases after him because he probably suspects what he's trying to do and wants to stop him. Pan decides to get involved, and she starts beating up on all of the guards that are shooting at Piccolo, and this guy's Carmine. I apologize to the fandoms. These guys are write-offs as far as I'm concerned. Carmine is Magenta's right hand lieutenant, right? This Elvis Presley doofus motherfucker. Anyways, so this is the scene in which Carmine here starts shooting at Pan with his gun, and Gamma 2 notices it and shoots with his little, laser gun, shoots the handgun out of his hand. And this is where Gamma 2 realizes that, um, like, who is good and who is bad here. So he stops fighting Piccolo, and Pan beats up Carmine and whatnot. And Piccolo notices that Gamma 2 has figured it out and calls off, Gohan from, continuing to fight Gamma 1. And we see a little funny little panel on 17 of the fight between them, and they're just goofy. Oh well. Well, with the fighting now stopped, everyone kind of explains what's going on here, but then we see uh, Magenta zooming down the tunnel to activate Cell Max, and he tells Dr. Hedo that, the reason why the Gammas are losing is because you taught them all this heroic shit and it's not going to fly and whatnot. And then we see Dr. Hedo. He gets shot and he reminds Magenta that, he has super strong skin, so kinetic impacts aren't going to hurt him. And then he transforms into his super son or superhero persona and thinks he's going to save the day. And then this was whenever Magenta turned into his evil villain persona, where he has super armor kind of BS. And Magenta thinks that he's just going to wipe the floor with Dr. Hedo, and then Dr. Hedo uses his little remote control bee to. Can't remember if this actually kills. I think it kills Magenta, or if it just paralyzes him. I'm not sure, but this guy's going to be dead anyways, regardless. So Magenta activates Cell Max, and you hear the machines just gearing up to unleash him. We look back up on the surface. Goten, Trunks, and Bulma and Krillin have arrived. Um, they also start foreshadowing here um, within the first pages of this little sub arc or whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying at this moment. But Gohan can't see without his glasses. He's a little, like Velma kind of doofus right now because he doesn't have his glasses and he's not transformed. So you hear everyone talking, and Dr. Hedo is trying to deactivate Cell Max, and then he's not able to, and giant explosion occurs. Cell Max comes up, and you get a pretty sweet panel on pages 22 or 32 and 33, and a lot of detail in the Cell Max that I was not anticipating for the manga chapter.
Oh, that one picture is absolutely amazing.
The one where he's screaming.
Yes, that is god tier like drawing.
I mean, it is phenomenal drawing for Cell Max. I was not expecting it to be the probably best, the most descriptive drawing of an individual. I
Hmm.
almost want to say in all of Super. I'm trying to think, like in what I mean. I think there's some scenes that are more iconic.
Hmm.
Like when Moro or got gut punched
Yeah,
by Goku. Like
that
that
was a good
scene
one.
was that scene was pretty sweet. Or that other one where Goku and Angel Moro are like charging at each other.
Hmm.
And then there's probably something during the Heaters arc that I just can't think of something at the moment, other than maybe like Black Frieza or when Frieza punched both. In terms of like iconics, there's more that are iconic than this, but in terms of the details, Toritaro drew of Cell Max, it's the most detailed. Like he put his heart and soul into that drawing. Yeah, check it out. It's insane. But
It's absolutely bonkers, man. Like it's like when I first saw that, I was just like, oh my gosh, like they went in for him.
you know, it's funny though because if you look at the next page, because you still see Cell Max chasing after Dr. Hedo.
Hmm.
Like, just go back and forth between the photos. It's like between what Cell Max looks like after his reveal compared to his reveal. It's like, oh, back to normal, like 50 cents worth of drawings here.
Hmm.
Whereas, you spend a whole dollar to get that Cell Max on 33. So, but yeah, anyways. What else? Well, then that's kind of almost how the chapter kind of starts to wind down. Cell Max comes to the surface. The Gammas try to go save Dr. Hedo, but they can't find him at the moment, and they start fighting Cell Max in the meantime, um, and they're getting beat up, of course. And Piccolo tosses his Senzu bean to Gohan, but he drops it because again he can't see and whatnot. And Piccolo scolds him, and then Goten and Trunks are like, "Hey, you guys just fought. Why don't you take a rest here for a second, and we'll go and handle this?" And they transform into their Saiyaman personas, and then they charged off the battle, and that's where the chapter ended. So,
Yeah, so just real quick on things that weren't in the movie. Obviously, the beginning of the chapter was not in the movie of Trunks talking Bulma and then Goten showing up. That wasn't in there. Them being Great Saiyaman X1, X2 at the end, that was not in there. So I think that's
yeah,
the only real differences.
now we're just waiting for next month's chapter to see if Geekdom is going to have to eat his words, or if he was right on the most unnecessary claim that he had. Will Goten and Trunks fuse into Teen Gotenks?
Oh, yeah. We'll see if that's different. I still don't understand how Bulma has everyone's number. She called Krillin like, oh, he'll bring 18, but I was like, oh, maybe we should call 17. Maybe we should call Tien because remember at that point they only think Piccolo is there. They don't
Yeah,
even think. It's also funny. They don't even think to be like, hey, maybe we should call Gohan
yeah.
or like or
A
like
big old
Dan-
plot hole there. I didn't think of that until just now. Yeah,
or like oh like maybe I should keep trying that stab to get Goku and Vegeta here if like something's going down. But those are just some some different things. But that's it with 96. 97 will be in September.
yeah.
All right.
It's pretty funny how you mentioned that they didn't even think of Gohan, but they thought of Krillin.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because all they had to do, technically, I think this would have been better than Bulma being like, maybe I just reach out to Krillin. He's following this case. Maybe if they were like, well, actually, I was going to take a step back. I was like, why doesn't Bulma just call Videl? But I don't think Videl doesn't know shit. He doesn't know what's going on because Gohan seemingly was home alone when Piccolo and that henchman came to tell him that they kidnapped Pan. But regardless,
You know it's funny too. All this is happening. I'm assuming Videl works normal hours and a normal work day.
you know,
But I don't know, man. We'll see. 97. We're probably gonna get. I, I don't know if they're gonna do Beast Gohan in the middle of the chapter, like the last.
I bet they'll do it at the end. I bet they'll do it at the end, just kind of like how Orange Piccolo did, and
Yeah,
then and then
98
October's chapter
will
will
be
be
it.
the death of Somax.
Yeah, and then we'll hopefully then we're gonna be in uncharted territory. But all right, Mitch, are you ready for some
Uh,
fun stuff for you?
Hit me,
Like,
hit me with it.
all right, first, day of recording is August 20th, 2023. 1 year ago at this time, we were watching the English dub premiere of Dragon Ball Super Hero. Like, yep, it came out exactly 1 year ago today. And now, 1 year later, we're about to finish the manga interpretation of Dragon Ball Super Hero. Um, Another thing, Mitch, which is also a big thing, it is the 20th. By the time this episode's come out, it will be the 3 year anniversary of your very first episode on the L7C podcast, which means it will be the 3 year anniversary of the L7C podcast in general. How do you feel that it's about to be the 3 year anniversary of the first episode, which was yours?
Bro, we started this in the middle of a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of wild to think of. But I remember the first podcast that you and I did. I was living in the apartment at the time, and I was actually sitting in the guest bedroom on my phone because I hadn't set up the computer yet
Mm-hmm.
for that. And I remember the audio quality from
Mm-hmm.
me was like hot garbage. Okay, not the worst, but like it sounded like I was a million miles away. So it's funny to think about that and where we started from that, and now look where you've taken the L7C with. branching out towards every single, you know, aspect of society, I should say, from sports to entertainment to, you know, uh, stuff of political nature too. It's amazing what 3 years have done in terms of how everything has grown and where you're taking everything now.
So you did bring up the audio, which was funny because that was the very first episode, and that's when we were recording directly. I mean, directly into Anchor. Like I was like recording on my iPad, and you were doing it on like your phone. So it's crazy how things have changed. But I actually re-listened to the very first episode to see if anything we talked about on that first episode panned out today, or if there's still
Jesus
issues
Christ.
today. And
Uh-oh.
the episode came out August 26, 2020. So this will probably come out the 3 year thing. So
They were
first,
fighting Moro at the time.
oh yeah, first we talked about how we met. We talked about obviously the global phenomenon of Dragon Ball and Goku. We talked about how Super ended in March 2018. Still has not come back, which is crazy. We talked about 2020. There's been no new episodes, but Dragon Ball has pulled in 1 billion in 2019. Which, fun fact, since 2018, 2019, Dragon Ball has pulled in $1 billion every year
With no anime.
with no anime.
How is that broken down? Do you happen to have like
I
the specific?
actually do. Where is it? Because it was broken down by games, toys, manga sales. Yeah, I'm trying to find the percentages. I literally just had it, unless I just deleted that app, which that sucks. But I just know all those things came into whatchamacallit consideration. So it's like anything with the Dragon Ball like IP.
Kind of crazy to think that while we've been doing these podcasts, we have never done a review on an anime episode.
No, the only anime review we've technically done is Dragon Ball Super Super Hero.
Yeah, it's only been movies.
Yeah. So you want to talk? We talked about back then if we felt let down by Super, and we talked about how this was one of the craziest things in anime history. How the anime was coming out before the source material, the manga, which caused a lot of discrepancies.
Yeah.
And Mitch, we back then the manga. Do you want to guess the manga chapter that just happened before our very first recording?
So without cheating,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like 3 years, 12 months, 36, we're on 96, chapter 60,
63.
63. I don't know how the math didn't add up there, but
It was
pretty close.
close. And
Pretty close.
manga chapter 63, Mitch, that is the chapter where Miris died. And we did not, and we thought he was gone for good.
That's wild. Mirrors, man.
Yeah, and we talked about the last page is Goku like hunched over, like it reminded us of Super Saiyan 1 where he's about to get angry. And yeah, we talked about also in that first episode of after Moro is done, where do we go from here? Because they got to be close to the end. God, we were wrong on that because they had the granola arc, Black Frieza, and Superhero. We're still not done.
Well, hey, the funny thing is that, we might talk a little bit of shit of other people not knowing what the hell. Apparently we don't either. So we are in this freaking train of just no one knowing what the hell is going on. But it's always fun to speculate though, but
Because we talked about like after Moro arc, what would we want before it ends? Bring back Broly, which they did. We talked about the Universe Six Sands has not been shown. We talked about a Beerus rematch that has not been shown, or a Jiren rematch. We also talked about Goku not master. We didn't want Goku to master MUI because we wanted him to chase for something.
yeah.
Well, he mastered, quote unquote, mastered silver hair, but then they just added more things on top of that.
No.
So, and then man, we just talked about so many different things. That was where you dropped the Goku wearing his blue gi in honor of Blue because you brought up your famous thing about them giving
Oh
up their
yeah.
god powers to
Yep.
beat Moro. And what happens? They just got more god powers.
They really did the exact opposite of what I predicted or what I hoped. Forget my verbiage, but
And then it was just funny too because we talked about if Goku goes MUI, is he going to beat Moro next month? We both said no, Moro's going to pull some shenanigans, but UI Goku's going to get the finishing thing because we did not want UI to suck. Because we're like, if UI comes out, he should automatically win. And God, we did not anticipate the granola arc.
nope, we did not. Not at all.
But I mean, Mitch, a lot of the stuff that you talked about 3 years ago, some of it's holding true right now. We got teased with Vegeta. He didn't beat the main villain. He helped as usual, but didn't beat it. Goku got a new form, True Ultra Instinct. Um, and Super's just still like the transformations just don't win still to this day.
They I don't really understand like maybe it's because like these transformations just I don't know, they don't come I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like I'm thinking back to the other transformations, like a lot of work had to go into those transformations. Like and then they won, but like these I don't know, they kind of just hand them out. I mean, Vegeta's a horrible example. Like I didn't need Ultra Ego just to show up just to get stomped. But
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I just think it's crazy. Like that was 3 years ago. Talk about the state of Dragon Ball,
and
and a
there's an
lot.
Ultra Instinct that uses emotions that like goes against what
Mm-hmm.
we've been fed. Wow.
It's just wild too because I know we talked about this off air. How Dragon Ball ranked ninth in like sales from I don't have the damn site Oricon. How they
Yeah.
ranked ninth at that time with no manga coming out, and I just saw they posted a Japan weekly manga sales ranking from August 7th to 13th updated. And Dragon Ball Super Volume 21 is currently in fifth place. Estimated number of copies sold 58,730.
Holy shit.
And this is a retelling. A retelling. Like there's nothing new. If you've seen the movie, you already know what happens.
Yep. Just keep getting, just everything's copy and paste. I think I say that once a manga or once a podcast. Everything's just copy and paste, man. And here we are, just eating it up for fucking dinner, man.
And then I brought up how Dragon Ball Super came out exactly 1 year ago, which is 1 year ago today. We're recording today, came out a year ago. L7C podcast started 3 years ago, so it's a big date, I guess, for us. But also remember too, we were sitting back there thinking Dragon Ball Super Superhero was going to bomb, not because of the content, but because of zero promotion. The worst
Mhm.
promoted movie I've seen in my life, and this is before the strike. Obviously, with the strike, you can't promote, but like
Yeah.
this is before the strike, and you can't promote. And not only did it not bomb, it opened the number one movie in the U.S. and in the world with no advertisement.
They just a little money. Yeah, that's the thing. Were they saving? What did they know that word of mouth would carry this so far that they didn't need to actually advertise for it? Because, like what you said, like all they're doing right now is just pumping out same old content, and yet they're ninth in sales. Like for dump, we as a community, we just do everything ourselves, and it's like, why would they spend the money on advertisements whenever yeah. No, the reason why you do an advertisement is to try to catch people's attention. But if you already have their attention, it's almost not necessary.
It's crazy. Like it's just absolutely insane. CBR, for what it's worth, I know CBR is hit or miss. just literally on May 2nd, 2023. So months had like the top, what number is this? Top 10 highest grossing anime franchises of all time. And obviously, I mean, do you want to guess where Dragon Ball was at?
Two.
No. Dragon Ball was at four. Uh,
Pokemon at one.
yes. I don't think you'll get two and three. Two, I've never heard of, but people, I know some super people will be like, oh man, this is crazy. Of course it's up there. But three, I had to think, gosh damn, those damn toys. I knew it. Number two is called An Pon Man,
Okay.
estimated net worth like 45 billion. But number three, you want to hear what number three is? Which you're gonna be like, holy shit, all those toys, it makes sense.
Uh, Beyblade. Okay.
No. Number three, Hello Kitty.
Jesus, that's an anime.
Yeah, that's an anime. It's actually Hello Kitty is actually the second from Title Max, the second highest grossing media franchise of all time, all on merchandise.
Oh,
And this is like all time 80 billion,
how much does Pokemon have? Over 100?
92, 92 billion. So like top 25 highest grossing media franchises: Pokemon 1, Hello Kitty 2, Winnie the Pooh 3, Mickey Mouse 4, Star Wars 5, Ampleman 6, Disney Princesses 7, Mario 8, Shonen Jump Comics 9, which I mean that makes no sense because all of them are in there. Then Harry Potter 10, MCU 11,
I'm actually
Spider
surprised Mario is at 8.
yeah, Spider-Man 12, Gundam 13, Batman 14, and Dragon Ball 15. And this one breaks it down, like it'll show you like where is the money coming from. Like Pokemon, most of it, 60 billion of the 92 is merchandise.
Merchandise.
Like so not even like the games. I guess they're putting games in merchandise. No merchandise. No merchandise is shirts, all that. They do have video games split up. Yep, they have it split up. I'll actually send you this link. It's very interesting. Dragon Ball is a super like it'll be like, oh, here's from comics and manga. Here's some from merchandise. Here's some from video. It's very split up,
Hmm.
but it's in the top 50, like of all time, man. Dragon Ball is up there. And like if you look at Hello Kitty, obviously, and the other stuff, but like and Pokemon, but you're looking like it's one of the few mangas of all time on this list. One Piece is down at the is in the top 25. James Bond, Lord of the Rings, Cars, Toy Story, Barbie, Fist of the
Wow.
North Star. And people will be surprised, but this anime makes a lot of money. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was actually ranked fifth behind Dragon Ball in the CBR one net worth. They had like six, like it's they make a lot of money.
Yeah, I'll have to read that. That's pretty interesting.
You know, I'll definitely send you the
Sure.
links, but it's crazy how Dragon Ball just stays this,
Relevant.
this hot. Yeah, there's been no and we talked about it on the very first episode. There's been no anime since March 31st, 2018. And if you remember, they ended that so abruptly. They just sent a tweet saying, "Oh, this is the last episode of Super."
You know,
And of course, that's led to the Dragon Ball memes of, "Oh, Super's coming back 2019, 2020, 2021, 2020." And obviously, we haven't had it back yet. So,
this this franchise just transcends everything, man.
yeah, there's no way to explain it. Like, you're doing a retelling and you're in the top nine in manga sales. And I remember you were mad. You're like, that's not good enough. And then people were like,
Literally isn't.
any other manga would be ecstatic that they could just retell a whole movie and be in the top 10. But you're
Nope.
like, nope, not Dragon Ball. Nope,
Nope.
not, not Dragon Ball. So, man, so 3 years in L7C, what stuff are you? This it's looking like superheroes going to end, and then what are they about to do to end this year? Because I personally think they got to do something big for Manga 100.
Well, I would predict that one of two things would happen by the end of the year, and that is they would announce a new movie or the return
Mm,
of the anime, like one of those two, like maybe in tandem with like another manga, because I assume they want to continue keeping the manga ahead of the anime.
okay.
And since you're essentially three manga or three arcs ahead, it's like they should be able to like keep shitting behind the manga per se. Yeah, I mean, it has to be some. They have to do some big news. They can't go into 2024 with nothing. But hell, that's all they've been doing is basically nothing, and they're making tons of money off of it. So,
A billion a year off doing nothing since 2019. So since just think, I mean,
oh, a
2018
new
to
game. Okay,
2023, you've had two
I'll add a
movies.
new game to it.
Okay, yeah, that is
I'll
also
add,
true.
I'll add like Xenoverse 3, just there has to be. I don't want to make my like prediction broad here, but you have to make this shit broad because everyone's been wrong for so long.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think because if you look through the 2018 to 2023, they've had two movies. Both have done very well, swimming in the money. Their manga chapters, okay. Their DLC for their games like Dragon Ball Fighters, Xenoverse 2, Dragon Ball Kakarot. So they're not even making new games. They're making DLC. Obviously, they made Breakers, but Breakers is like Xenoverse 2, like just a different version.
Yeah.
So it's like they haven't even made new games. Obviously, they announced Tenkaichi 4, but haven't said anything since the teaser. So it's like I don't understand how they always do this. They tease something, then disappear.
Yeah.
Um, so you're right. It's like 2024. They got to come with something. They they need to come with something because
And I don't think just another manga arc is enough, but maybe they will, and then in springtime they'll be like, "Here's your big news for the year." But
no, that makes.
just prepare to be wrong again, man.
Oh
Just like we
yeah,
were 3 years ago.
I mean their Comic Con was abysmal. Like they had center stage. Nobody could really be there because of the strike. They were there. This is where you drop something. All they did was have some statues of like superhero and didn't announce anything. Their big announcement was superheroes coming to Crunchyroll. If you haven't already seen it, legally, illegally, or bought the damn Blu-ray or DVD,
You know,
you gotta do something. I know. We know Black Frieza's out there. We know the other universes are out there. But
I just wonder if the next arc will be actually no. Here's my two questions. Will the next arc be about Black Frieza? Maybe. I mean, if it's not, I think that's they better go to another universe to solve that universe's problems real quick. And then when they come back, they realize that Frieza took over,
that would be dope. That would be dope.
or Frieza is like running havoc in Universe 6. And that's how you get Vegeta to go see Planet, you know, Sadal or Salad, whatever it's called. Heck, actually, it'd be real sweet if Frieza went over to screw over Universe 6 and Frieza blew up that planet, the Saiyan's homeworld there, and eradicated the Saiyan race there. That would be sweet.
That would be crazy. It would definitely give the dramatic like, all right, this is real. Universe 6 just got like destroyed, and also kind of. I mean, destroying Universe 6 or taking over. It also we talked about this in 2020, seeing Beerus get involved more because
Hmm.
Beerus might get involved because Choppa and them got smoked.
Probably. And that would be sweet because, Frieza would just be decimating a lot of like people's ties to that universe. So, like what you said, if Champa gets stomped, Beerus might, get involved and get pissed off. If Frieza destroyed the Saiyans a second time in Vegeta's lifetime, that would get Vegeta involved, and yeah, that'd be sweet.
Oh,
I
and
don't know if I
also,
would. It's like, would I rather Frieza invade another universe for them to have to save the day in that universe, or do I want them to go to another universe to fight that villain and then come back to Frieza basically in charge of everything?
yeah, and also funny too. Literally, of time of recording, the Dragon Ball official website was doing a panel, like a voting thing of what you think Goku's number one quote in the manga has been through all of his history, and they did a top 10.
Yeah.
Number one was what he said to Vegeta when they first met. On this planet, we know that even the lowest born can outdo the elite if they work hard enough.
Hmm.
Number two was, are you talking about Krillin?
Oh,
Number three is when he said goodbye to his friends when he sacrificed himself during the Cell thing. Number four was when he said thank you to the Dragon Balls and all that stuff when he got his power back against Kid Buu. Fifth place was when he said to Frieza, this is the obviously these are all manga ones. When he was talking to Frieza about the Saiyans, he's like, they died because of it. It's time. This time it's you who dies. Gosh, I could never imagine Dragon Ball Super Goku saying that now. They're completely different people.
that they are.
Sixth place, I think, is the one of the only ones from Dragon Ball Super. This one's just funny and hypocritical. It's Goku talking to those people saying, go get a job instead of pulling stunts like this. And Goku is telling someone to get a job. Number seven, you fool, when he blasted it back at Frieza.
Oh yeah.
Number eight, remember people, manga, because somehow Roshi had his own version of like Ultra Instinct. And Goku's like, I was the worst apprentice who never listened, but thanks to that old man, that I got stronger. So even now I'm Son Goku of the Turtle School. Then he reawoke Ultra Instinct against Jiren. Completely different in the anime.
Oh yeah.
Ninth place when Goku went Super Saiyan and yelled, "It's over, Frieza." And 10th place, Goku to Chi Chi saying, "Okay, we better get married."
Hmm.
Which, funny enough, Dragon Ball Kakarot also just came out with DLC of the 17th, and it was all about the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, which a lot of people haven't watched Dragon Ball. And if you haven't and want to play and learn some stuff about that tournament and how it's one of the best things in the Dragon Ball franchise, go check that out on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Is that the furthest that Kakarot has gone back? Was that World Martial Arts? Like they haven't released any DLC in regards to like the Red Ribbon Army or
So in the
Emperor Pilaf, right?
DLC, you start off. It's actually funny enough. You start off the DLC doing the Kid Goku versus King Piccolo fight. That's how you start the
Oh yeah.
DLC off. So then you see Goku do the penetrate move, kill him, and then he shoots the egg out. And then you do the tournament, the 23rd tournament. And then after you beat the tournament, and it's like, free roaming, all that stuff, Red Roman, there's thugs, literally called thugs, hired to kill Goku to get the Dragon Balls. You
Yeah.
find out they're hired by Emperor Pilaf.
Okay.
And then there's a sub story where Bulma's been tracking these red ribbon bots and doesn't know who's activating them because Goku killed everyone, well, beat everyone in the Red Ribbon Army. And then you see the shadowy figure, Dr. Gero, just working in some lab saying, do you think these are the bots that are going to just wait till I get 17 and 18 going? It might take some time. It's like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot always tries to add some small things to the overall mythos. Like they're like, oh, Dr. Bulma's been trying to track these robots. Obviously, she
Yeah.
didn't do that in the show. Or like when Mira and Toa showed up in Kakarot, and they're like, oh, we lost them. We're gonna jump to another timeline, the Xenoverse timeline, or like how they did Super Saiyan God, that Whis has always been watching Goku and Vegeta and all the Saiyans, and instead of the cop out of pregnant Videl, they went and got future Trunks to do it.
Mm,
So they put their own spin to things, and they have Android 21, who was Android 16's mom, all that stuff. She's in the game working at Capsule Corp. Like, they do their own thing to bring all of Dragon Ball content, which is cool. Still waiting for the first console game to bring in Heroes,
other than that, wait,
like PlayStation 4, like PlayStation Xbox game, not like a Switch card game.
yeah, okay. I was going to say that Switch card game I thought did,
Oh
but
yeah, they have Heroes, but nah, I'm like 3D on TV on a big screen playing as like Hearts or Cumber, because technically we lied, they're the only anime that's still been going their little 8 minutes on YouTube to promote a card game.
yeah,
So I don't know, man. We're gonna see October Beast, no, September Beast Gohan is arriving,
yeah.
and we'll can't wait to. I can't the way they drew Cell Max, man. I can't wait to see how they draw Beast Gohan.
I think, well, Orange Piccolo didn't look too much different than what he
No,
was in the movie, so I'd imagine it'd probably be the same artwork. And if you really need to go get a comparison, go and read when Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2. It's probably going to be the exact same kind of looking thing, just updated color graphics.
yeah. Mitch, anything else on the 3 year anniversary of the L7C, 3 year anniversary of your first episode, 1 year anniversary of Dragon Ball Super Super Hero? Anything else?
No, just appreciate everyone, hopping on this train and, enjoying all the content that we keep pumping out and excited for the next 3 years of us doing this and 3 years after that as well. So good times.
With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to. Big day again. 1 year anniversary of Dragon Ball Super Superhero in America. 3 year anniversary of the L7C podcast. Just major stuff. That first episode, the audio, man, was something to behold. And now you're listening to us now. You see the growth. And it's the fact, August 26, 2020. Let's talk about Dragon Ball. That was Dragon Ball chapter 63. And then next month is going to be 97.
Wow.
Just crazy. And with that being said, L7C podcast signing out.